What is happening, Mark Bare Naked Willie? How are you today, my friend?
Oh, bright sunshine by the Dave Cooper Live Mobile. I had to put
Yeah,
my shades on, that reflection. Dave.
I know it. We're sitting outside down in sunny, shiny Florida. We're having a good time down here. We may even be visiting a couple trust plants in the next few weeks while we're here as well. But in the meantime, Mark, I got to fly to even more sunny places. Guess what? I will be hanging out somewhere in Texas near San Antonio with someone and spending the evening on that ranch that's happening. Kind of cool.
Oh, man.
We
Last
were
time
there.
you were somewhere in Texas, Dave, I got to sneak up on you and jump on your picnic table for a Saturday coffee time. And
That's right.
I know who you're visiting, and he is one cool cat.
He is one cool cat, but we got another cool cat coming on the show today. We have somebody that's going to be super inspiring, I think, for the younger generation, and I think this is going to be a fun conversation for sure. Where you at today, Mark?
Oh, I'm not in Texas, and I'm not. Oh, look at that! Look at that, folks.
You like it? Testing the gear.
Multi-camera.
Testing the gear.
Love that. And I'm also not in Arizona because I
Oh,
know after Texas,
yeah.
you're gonna start moving your arms like this, and you're gonna get over to AZ for something really
Well,
awesome.
you know what? I'm flying to San Antonio. Then we're going to Austin, Texas for some meetings. Then I'm going back to San Antonio. And then we're going to Phoenix to Advancing Prefab, which is turning out to be a huge, huge show this year with a lot of key players. So it's going to be a ton of fun to go out there for sure.
The thing I like about it, Dave, is when you go to these trade shows like Advancing Prefab, right?
Yep.
We're gonna get to be there with you because you got the control panel and the microphone and DC Live everywhere.
We do. We got it everywhere, and we got some special surprises coming up. I've been warned that there might be some things happening to me while I'm at Advancing Prefab, and I should just be prepared, suck it up, and let it happen. So we'll see what that's all about. So you guys want to definitely stay tuned to see what happens there. Well, listen,
Dave, I already put a link for next week up. I got surprises for you too.
you have surprises for me. I see that BS Friday has a surprise construction season 4/29/22. I'm looking forward to it.
I know.
I'm
Are
looking
you
forward
going to
to
be
it.
wearing that shirt and hat next week so everyone can find you?
I'll probably be wearing a hat or my bags all have it on. But, I go to these events. I put on my nice collared shirt, my jacket. I want to get some nice interviews and promote. But I might get a little crazy on a time or two while I'm out there. Maybe during
Yeah.
cocktail hour.
Hey, I'm wearing a collared shirt today.
I
Right?
know I need
That's a
one
big
with my
step.
logo on it, huh?
It's a Dickies, right? But it's a collared shirt.
I love it. I love it.
All right. So Greg Ugaldi gave us Twitch, right? And so we got people watching on Twitch. Where else, Dave?
We got Twitch. We got YouTube. We got Facebook. We have LinkedIn Live, and we are on Twitter. So get your tweets on, everybody. Make sure you go out there and tweet us. And if you are not following my friend Mark Bare Naked Willie, then you might be wrong. You should be out there following Mark Bare Naked Willie and all of his adventures and where he's going. He's everywhere. And also, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't know if you're watching this live. If you are, thank you for joining us. But if you're like a lot of people and you're watching this Saturday with your coffee or whenever, we appreciate you for tuning in. Ask any questions you want and reach out to us anytime. All right, Mark, why don't we hop into today's show?
Yeah, let's start with surprises.
Ooh.
Let's bring a familiar face forward to surprise our guest speaker of today.
Yeah, and we kind of like this guy, too. What's happening, Mr. Matt Bloomquist in the house? How are you, brother?
Good. You guys hear me okay?
Hey, we can hear you just fine. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, great. I have to do this on the phone. I'm sitting in the mobile classroom on the job site, waiting for the students to show up here in about 10 minutes. So
A
squeezing this one
mobile
in.
classroom on a job site for students on a student-built high-performance project. And Matt, who would you like to introduce the people to today?
All right, today's guest. One thing we do in our student-built house is we do our own plumbing. We have to reach out and talk to professionals, and I just happened to meet a very awesome plumber when I was at IBS in Orlando, Florida. His name is Eric. You guys are going to know him better as Mechanical Hub from Instagram and YouTube. He also has some awesome podcasts. I just happened to be a guest on his podcast not too long ago, Make Trades Great Again. He is a big promoter of trades in schools. And actually, I got a nice text message from today about, promoting trades in schools. So, Eric Aune, Mechanical Hub.
Love it. What's happening, Eric? How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Loud
yeah,
and
we can
clear.
hear you.
Awesome.
Loud and clear.
Hey, Matt. This is so
How
cool
you
to see
doing?
you. We were
Right?
just texting this morning about the school, the house, and maybe a possible video project, and it's so
Yep.
funny. That's awesome.
Perfect
Well,
timing.
This is great, right? Because Matt, you're doing such amazing work with the students and training the trades, and the new generation of trades. But you're not just training them; you actually personally work very hard at staying up with the most current and latest techniques for building it tight, right? Build it tight, build it right,
Yeah.
build it right, build it tight. What is it, Mark? You know the words, but
No,
I
you
think
said
that's-
it.
Yeah, I think that is what's super, super important about you over other people that are out there, because you're actively working with influencers, right? People that are out there with the latest and greatest products around the world, and you're introducing that to your students. And I think that's absolutely amazing. And look, I mean, we got obviously Eric from the Mechanical Hub, another influencer in the plumbing space. Go ahead, man. Just tell us, what do you mean you're sitting in a mobile classroom? It looks like a front porch to me.
It's it looks like a tiny house. It's a little messy, but
Yeah.
we got a TV, we got a plotter printer. Actually, once we get our sewer line hooked up, we will have internet put in. We got to put that sewer line in before that fiber optic cable line goes over top of it. But
Right.
this is the job site office. The students built it. It's all community donated. It moves around from job site to job site. It acts as my job site office. It acts like a place for kids to switch out of gear whenever it's cold outside. And also, it's conditioned storage for us year round. It's very, very convenient and nice to have.
It's
Yeah,
conditioned with the ductless mini split, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Ductless mini split. And what kind of walls are you using in your houses these days?
So on the house or the mobile classroom?
No, in the house.
The house. So this house is built with T-studs. So we have
Never heard of it.
right there this new thing. We got to find a guy to help promote it, talk about it somewhere for them.
I don't
Maybe
know
we can
anybody.
find someone.
Yeah, I love it. I love
So
it.
yeah, we got T-studs. We got Zip R9 wrapped around it. We'll have blown in dense pack cellulose. We got some Sega tape on here as well. We got it all. It's tight.
I love it.
It's good to
Well,
go.
Well, listen, Matt, we appreciate you coming on. Please tell everybody how they get a hold of you. And if there's any companies out there that want to support the students, Matt's always looking for sponsors and products so they can use these products. It's a great way to get your products in the hands of the future people that will be ordering your products. So I highly suggest you get out there and reach out to Matt. Matt, how do people get a hold of you?
The easiest way is jump on Instagram, Build, Learn, Teach. There's underscore in between each of those. That's where I'm most active. I'm also on LinkedIn, just my name, Matt Blomquist. And then I also jumped over there on the Hammer app too. It's kind of a new thing that's coming up and stuff. It's kind of fun too. So those are
Matt,
the easiest way.
I'm going to a pizza place later today. I'm going to write your phone number on the wall so everyone can give you a call. Eric was just texting you. Maybe he'll give everyone your phone number.
There you go. There you go.
Awesome. All right. Well, Matt, thank you for doing the intro this morning. All right, Eric,
Very
let's
welcome.
jump into Eric. That's what we're here for, Mechanical Hub. Eric, we ask everybody on this show. We want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff, or we will call one of your family members and bring them on the show. And when we do, they will spill their beans, and it'll be very embarrassing because Mark's mother's the one that asked the questions. But you only have 2 minutes to do it. So the floor is yours. Go ahead.
I've been a master plumber since 2002. I started my apprenticeship into the plumbing industry here in Minneapolis through the Minneapolis Plumbers Local 15 back in 1998 or something like that. So for my adult life, I've been involved in construction and service and in the trades. I grew up in a family that was also in the trades. I went to went to one of the largest high schools in the state of Minnesota, graduated near the top of my class, went into engineering school at the U of M, dropped out because I didn't quite think that an office job was for me. All these years later, I own a small media company. I do a lot of stuff on social media, and I promote the trades. That's it. I have 2 boys that are in college themselves that are pursuing very cool careers, each one of them individually, and they love what I do, and they love the idea of the trades, but a little higher education for them is suited. So we're all encompassing here at the Aune household.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. And I flashed up your website while you were talking there a little bit just to show everybody. But yeah, I mean, you got a cool website. You got cool swag, right? You got cool platforms that are out there. How the heck did you run across Mark Bare Naked Willie?
Well, he probably found me on Instagram, and then I see him in the comments, and I started looking at him, and I was like, man, this guy, he has got some energy, that is for sure. And I'm just continuing to be impressed by everybody I've met on places like, I spend more of my time admittedly on Instagram, so I'll just reference that. I'm so impressed with like the Build Network and the people that are involved in the building science. And I'd like to say I understand everything that everybody's talking about, but I don't. But I follow along. Everything you guys are talking about, it's great. And so that's, I think, how we met. Probably Instagram, I suppose, right, Mark?
Instagram is an incredible community, and I'll say the exact echo of what you stated. So when I'm following the different people on the platform, sometimes it's on the peripheral, and sometimes it's because their deep dive are taking us in there. And so, let's face it, the 3 of us and everyone in the audience, from early morning to post dinner, right? We're doing our routines, we're doing our jobs, our professions, our careers. And then in those later hours at breaks and on the weekends, we're flooded with messages and follow-ups to those integral parts. And we're having to reply to people with smart questions, and we're having to alleviate knuckleheads that and I mean that in the most impolite way possible, knuckleheads that try to stir the soup. Because guess what? The contributions of posts that you make, Eric, like sometimes I don't look at it once. Sometimes I look at it 3 times. I'm like, I almost get that. And then I actually use the Google machine because I figure you don't want a question from me every day.
Oh yeah. The ins and outs of social media. Isn't it fun? There's so many people that make up the community, and yeah, you don't have to like everybody about it, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, when Matt came in today, he talked about meeting you at IBS, and both of you, I got to watch virtually this year at IBS because of the amount of content that was put forward. So before we talk more about your profession, can you give people a perspective on the highlight for you of IBS, or maybe the surprise for you when we were able to have a trade show this year down in Florida?
I want to be super positive about IBS, builder. I always call it the builder show, because isn't that a terrible name, IBS? I have to be honest, and maybe people, I don't want to be a downer on it, but I was a little disappointed in the turnout for the manufacturer side of things. And I say that because I went to the builder show this year just hell bent on finding out and putting my hands on more air to water heat pump systems. And I know it's maybe a pretty niche product there, but it really shouldn't be. And nobody brought their stuff this year. Every one of these companies has some really cool products to offer, and I just didn't get to see it. And I was a little bummed. It was really fun on the positive side of things. It was really fun to actually travel somewhere, be around a bunch of people again like that are in the industry, meet some people for, the first time, whether we met online or not. But I learned a lot. I hate to be that downer, but I was a little down on the show, the showing of the manufacturer side. It was tough. It's a tough year for them. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say much more than that. I know it was tough, but I was looking for more product than I got to see.
Right, but what I heard from that is also encouraging, right? So you got to meet the people and you got to do the interactions the first time that the floodgates were open. And then in your niche, the mechanical side and the operation side of it, those manufacturers didn't quite deliver at that level. And so, hey, that right there is a solution, right? That
Yeah.
hey, next time let's get some operation going. Let's get some cutaway versions, and we want to see what's under the hood, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when we go to a car show and you see the new Dodge pull up, the first thing you do is you want to look under the hood. And so this is the opportunity for Vegas, baby, for people to look under the hood. And at JLC recently, I enjoyed the different manufacturers and booths that were there, but a lot of times it's still the people from the company in the booths. But if in the booths were the people that work with the equipment and the people that get their hands dirty, that will actually be a bigger delivery to the industry because it's truly for us, by us.
Yeah. Eric, I'm gonna touch on I spent a lot of time down at IBS this year and had a lot of speaking opportunities while I was there. And I will tell you, I agree with you. I think the innovation of the new products was lacking to some extent. However, when I look at the bright side of almost 80,000 plus people decided to still come out of their houses after being on lockdown, and the manufacturers that did show up, a lot of them were the tried and true, big pocket, but there was a lot of 8x10 booths there as well, which was incredible to see. And I think my heart tells me Vegas this upcoming year is going to be through the roof. I think people are, this just showcased that it's time to move on and to get back to business is what I saw happen at the show. And even in my world of offsite construction, we had a couple great offsite construction products there, but it's not what it could have been. And I think that's also going to change coming up. So, yeah, for sure. I agree with you.
Yeah, the hesitation is real, right?
Yeah.
Some of us didn't even know if the show was going to happen, right?
That's
The
right.
whole international thing. We're progressing. And I think we take all this as suggestions. And I love, I love, I mean, everyone sees my phrase, ever expanding results, right? This is what we did this year. And guess what? We delivered medium-sized deli sandwiches. Well, next year, we're going to have appetizers. We're going to have an extra large deli sandwich. Let's put that meatball on top.
Yeah, I think that Dave, regarding the technology and what was on display, it should be acknowledged. At least I'd feel bad for not bringing it up. I understand that maybe they weren't able to bring a lot of the stuff that I was looking for because there was supply chain shortages on equipment, and they're maybe not going to be able to deliver on the sales side of things. So it's really tough for these manufacturers to show this product that they may have in their catalog or they may have coming down the pike. I acknowledge that, but so what my thoughts were, that's what I was like. I was really bummed. I wanted more. I wanted a lot more. I want to put my hands on it. And then moving forward, Mark, I really love your optimism, and I don't know how to make this happen myself, but maybe talking about it will help. I'd love to see more mechanical stuff, more HVAC and plumbing when it comes to displays and training and hands-on at an event like IBS. I know that there's just not a lot of industry experts doing that kind of training on the equipment itself. Maybe I'm missing that. Maybe I've seen it and missed it in the past, but I'd love to see an expansion on that. We see a lot of great things on, the performance of wall systems and windows and, all these products, but maybe the mechanical stuff could be an expansion at that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about that for sure.
It's really interesting. If I think back to when the kitchen and bath industry joined IBS, right? And you have two monsters connected together. Boy, at first I was tickled. I'm like, all right, it's all in, one roof. Well, that one roof is 80,000 football fields, right? So you physically can't get to everything, let alone spend the time. And, a lot of us want to get into everything. And I know this year's mechanical show was in Vegas, but I don't know where it is in 2023.
Vegas.
I have to, oh, it's in Vegas
I
again.
think so.
Are you talking
So-
about the AHR Expo?
Yeah, the AHR.
I believe it's in Atlanta this next year. I could be
Okay.
wrong on that, but that's a show that travels Orlando, Vegas,
Right.
Chicago, and I believe this coming season it's going to be in, or this coming year it'll be in Atlanta again.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I enjoy that show as well. And did that give you what you wanted to see, comparatively speaking?
No, I think we're still we're still in the same boat. We're
Come
and
on.
maybe 2022 is just an off year because of that whole supply chain issue and whether or not the shows were going to happen in the first place. It's tough. This is big investments by these companies.
Well, at least the lumber industry didn't have problems with pricing or shortaging the last year. I mean, whoo, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Got through that one. And the insulation industry and the petroleum industry had no problems in Texas. Right?
Yeah.
So this is funny because so many people, when you ask a question, Eric, they first side with what is topical and agreeable. And at the end of the day, that's not how we really communicate, right? We're problem solvers. So right now, not only did you pose a problem, and we agree with you, but we're coming up with those solutions. And next year at those conferences, there will be a special stage. It'll be the Mechanical Hub stage, and that's where we could get involved in the equipment. And I'll be there with the microphone. Dave, you got a camera?
I have plenty of cameras, and I have the people we can talk to about that. I think that's a great idea. I think we could definitely do something because you're right. There's some training, but it's not like they do for the wall systems and what Ben Bogey does there.
It's
People
really
like
neat.
all
From my perspective, I will say I enjoy the show for a lot of reasons. One of the things I come away from the Builder Show or IBS every year thinking, wow, I didn't know these sheeting, the sheeting materials with the insulation built. I don't know that stuff exists. I do service and repair and replacement kind of work. So I'm looking for equipment, but then I learned so much about the whole building industry and all the processes. And I always walk away from that show thinking, what an amazing experience to expand my knowledge, but I didn't get anything that was related to what I do every day. And so I'd love to see that expanded. I really would. I think it would be really cool to see a lot more HVAC, technical displays and training involved in the whole, to add to the system that they've got there now.
One of the things about your personality and what you bring to the profession that I love is preparedness. So what folks don't realize, if you take the time sometime over the weekend and make sure you carve out a period of hours to review Eric's IG account, you're going to get an in-depth look at a van. And what the van is these are my words, Eric, so whenever I'm wrong, just throw me out. The van is a supply house on wheels that's close to the project site. So there's less than 20,000 steps a day because you're already doing enough steps. But there's a pack out box after pack out box after pack out box. And it's so well organized that when there's a repair on site, you know that you're going to need XYZ, but you find out you're going to need A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And that stuff is there. And you apply that to the conversations of expectations to the shows. And that's about being prepared. That's about having it ready and being able to deliver for the discovery we find in front of us. So that's something that I appreciate about you. And I think not everyone realizes the power of a van and that the van is an extension of your hands.
Oh, it's so important for my business. It's amazing. And I love it. I love just trying to figure out how to make it better and more efficient all the time.
So
now you said you have two boys, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
college age. Yep.
What's that?
They're in college now. I've got kids that used to be kids. They're adults now.
It's a crazy. At 32 years old, you have 2 boys in college. Have these boys ever been in the
Oh, man.
driver's seat of the van?
Yeah, so both of them been out on job sites with me multiple times. Both of them now have, as they've gotten a couple years older since high school, they both appreciate the physical work job, the physical job site versus, the coffee shop job one of them had for a number of years. Like they see the benefit to their, mentally, physically, and just contributing to something that's real. Like it's pretty cool to see a kid's eyes light up a little bit when you tell them like what they just did could be there for the next 50 years or 100 years, or the reason why that water heater works is because what we just did. That's something to a kid. If you introduce it to them, you might find out it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, for sure. So
the other thing that must excite them is I'm guessing your hands and elbows and wrists and knees and shoulders are a bit sore from the sheer amount of hand tools the first part of your career, right? I gotta think the tools and the innovation of the tool world also is exciting the next gen.
Yeah, so the tools, when it comes to social media or talking with younger people in the trades, showing them the stuff, putting it in their hands and what those tools can do is pretty cool. I think my customers are constantly in awe as we get to work with each other more and more about, oh, look at this van, look at how well he's prepared. And if I could send myself, or maybe my kid will go out to a job site and take care of a small project, they see that we've got these tools, whether it's a physical tool in my hand or, we've got the training and we're out there. Maybe I'm not able to get, answer a call because I'm trying to take a training locally on a piece of equipment, stuff like that. Those are the tools that are going to make us successful. The van's just kind of a physical manifestation. It's one piece of the puzzle, really, honestly. But it's representative of everything. As you bring it up, it's cool to hear you talk about it. It's fun. I love the van, but it's a lot more than just that. I think it's a kind of a culmination or a collection of everything. Yeah. It's kind of what my van represents. And then to have it lettered and everything on the side, like the big wrench on the side, I'm really proud of that. And I think people should be with their business.
I think people judge you
trades.
from that too, right? I mean, people are going to judge you on your look, your feel, how you treat yourself when you walk in to somebody's house. I mean, appearance, especially in the trades, says a whole lot about what people think your quality is going to be, whether it's true or not, and your organizational skills and what have you. Matt's in the wins. He's going to say hi to the kids with us here in a minute. He'll give me 2 thumbs up when he's ready to bring him on, because I know he has to get the teaching. Oh, I think he's ready now. Let's bring Matt in, and then. But when we come back, Eric, the tools are one example of a system that you have. The tools. The van's one example of a system that you put together, right? But let's talk about what you see changing in the industry. What are you seeing as the future happening in the mechanical world, the plumbing world right now, versus the guys and girls that aren't out there really trying to learn anything new? Like what's happening? That's what we're going to talk about when we come back. And what should people have their eyes on? All right, Matt, what do we got here? Your mic's on mute.
There you go. All right, so the afternoon class is here.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? What's going on, everyone?
This was a group that was on with us on the show this winter, I guess. So we're getting ready. They just pulled out some of the tools and stuff out of our tool trailer, which is nice and organized as well. I enjoy watching Eric's videos on his stuff, which is awesome. We'll have a tool truck arriving to the job site soon that will be outfitting as well soon. So, but yeah, we're gonna go enjoy the 80-degree sunny weather. It is muddy because it rained last night, but we're gonna work on siding. So.
Hey, Matt, how many students are there with you this afternoon?
Somewhere around 10 to 11. We may be missing 1 or 2 this afternoon. But,
hey, guys, if you can hear me, and gals, can you raise your hand if you want Mechanical Hub to visit Taylorville? Just raise both hands real quick.
Trust me.
Raise both hands. Both hands. Come on, get them up. There it is. There it is. That's a full vote. Eric, you're going to Taylorville.
There you go. Looks like Eric may have froze up on us there, so we'll come back to him. All right, Matt, I know you need to get to some teaching there. The kids are just standing around waiting for you, and we don't want to waste their time when they have the ability to really hop into something and learn something. So thanks again. Appreciate seeing you, Matt.
Hey, thanks, Eric. Good seeing
Bye,
you again,
students.
Dave, Mark. Talk to you guys soon.
Bye, guys. Yeah, how cool
Can
is
you
that?
hear me?
Always bringing the kids in. Yeah,
I can hear you, Eric. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
We just had a vote from the students, and
Yeah.
all 10 students put 2 hands up, Eric, and they all voted for you to come to Taylorville. Sorry to put you on the spot there, but you can't let these kids down, brother.
No, actually, I really want to. I don't know if they already work with a plumber there in town, so we'll see.
Right.
It would be really cool.
Well,
Yeah.
Dave's got a big motorhome, and his wife Jennifer and their 2 daughters and son are there. They got some bikes.
Come
You
on.
could throw your bike on the back, Eric. Dave will pick you up. He'll drive you from Minnesota down to Taylorville. Dave, now I put you on the spot.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready. I definitely want to go speak with the students and talk to them and learn about what they're. I'm sure I'll learn more from them than they'd probably learn from me. But so Eric, listen, we're at about 12:36 here. I really want to get into what our current audience that's out there, right, in the offsite world, in the site build world, in the passive house world. What are some advice you can give them as, what are the trends that's happening in the world right now of plumbing that you see, and what should we stop doing if you have anything that you still see out there? I'm sure there's a ton of that, but I would imagine your world's advancing pretty fast, just like the rest of the world.
Well, that's a great question. Thanks for asking. I don't know if I want to give like a what we should stop necessarily just yet. In my head, as I'm driving from one job to another, or I'm putting or fixing equipment, or maybe considering replacement stuff for my clients, we're looking at these heat pumps now as the direction the industry is going, whether that's mandated by government regulations or if that's just where we think and believe that building science has us looking at, for HVAC and plumbing equipment. And I think stuff like this is really the best thing we can have for every climate. I know in a really, really cold climate, and the conditions of most homes are going to use more horsepower behind the equipment, which really gas realm. Yeah. That's interesting to me to think that other parts of the country are looking to go away from carbon and go strictly electric. I don't know if I got a really answer, but the industry needs to look at how they can apply this new technology to the business or to the that's the physical building itself. I think with heat pump system, we need to get more hydronics. I think there's a disconnect from the builder and the design and the architecture, where everything is, they place the occupant's comfort as far as like how the building breathes and, the way the one room flows into the next, but are they leaving out like this, like humidity and temperature, things that need to be taken into consideration for like true comfort of the occupants? Just because, look, you could put in a forced air system connected to a heat, and you can say that this is comfortable and it's efficient. But when we're totally eliminating and complete systems like hydronics, I think we're doing a disservice to the occupant, the end user. Yeah. I'd like to see more of that. I don't know. I'm not all over the place on that, but it's a big thing for me. Like this is new for us for HVAC. I know heat pumps have been around for a long time, but this is technology that's more or less being thrust at us, especially for us in the colder climates, and we're going to be forced to use it. And there's not a lot of thought, I think, being put into how it's going to be applied. It's not the best technology for air systems when in my opinion. I think great ductless systems are great, but they're not the best for every application either.
Right.
We're ignoring the retrofit application, which is honestly like 90% of my business as a plumbing heating contractor here in Minnesota. It's where I choose to be. I think that that's best for my business. And a lot of this new equipment isn't a great marriage with an older house, that kind of thing. So I like to look more into hydronics personally, especially as we build new homes. I think it's being ignored a little too much.
Yeah, sure.
It's perfectly said. And you created a big spectrum. The first thing I'll echo from that is if you have not experienced a house with hydronic radiant heating in the floor, if you haven't experienced that and you're in a cold climate, then
Yep.
you don't know what you're missing, right?
That's it.
It
So-
is the slipper for your building. And then secondly, a lot of folks bring up the conversation of green, and that is my sweet spot. I understand it. But I'm going to remind everyone that the greenest building out there and the greenest system out there is the one that already exists. So if you mean it and you take it, you're using less embodied energy than bringing in a new system,
That's right.
right? And so that maintenance of all that, I will echo Eric's point 1,000-fold. For the folks that do all electric, I understand what you do all electric. I preach in that marketplace as well. At the end of the day, controlled combustion and how it's done and what's needed for that structure and for that region, that's for a professional to tell you.
Yeah. And Mateo was asking, what is hydronics? It's basically water piping that's doing the heating on the floor that's on a heat loop, basically. Eric, is that the best way to explain it to somebody that doesn't understand?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, I think that's a good way to use. We're tempering water. We can
Yep.
use it for heating. We can use it for cooling. It's many different applications. What's most easily understood or maybe accepted, it would be like in-floor heating.
Right.
But there's a lot of ways we can use water to heat and cool.
Yeah,
for sure.
The apartment buildings my uncle built, Eric, in the 70s, all 6 flats back then, they were straightforward hydronic. And they were part of the family for years, and not one phone call, right?
Yeah.
It's just
it's the opposite of what
beautiful
people
thing.
think, right?
Well maintained.
For sure. So Mateo had another question here. He said, Eric, very cool. What are you doing? What you were doing? Any advice for younger guys or girls, I'm going to say, because there's a great girl that's a plumber out of Pittsburgh, PA, that helped out with the house that she built. I don't know if you know her or not, but you definitely want to check her out. If you don't, I think you guys would do a fun show together. But she's a big YouTuber. Anywho, what's your advice for younger people wanting to come into the plumbing trades? Because, it's a skilled trade, and sometimes you got to get in tight places, and, the work can be dirty and hard on occasion. So what do you tell them?
I think people that enjoy any kind of problem solving, I think this is a trade that has, all trades have that, but I think every day what I encounter are problems that need fixed. And just to have that toolbox of somebody to help you along, that's another part about our trade, that you're not going to enter this alone. You're not going to be on your own. It is required to have like an apprenticeship program, that kind of start into the trade. And so you just get a lot of exposure and a lot of help along the way when you start out. I think that's valuable. I think people need to look into it and understand that it's not, it can be very focused on one topic, or it can be very big and broad, but you're part of every aspect of the building, whether it's residential or commercial.
Right.
And that, there's just a lot of variety in what we do. I tell kids all the time, like, look, this is a trade it's very high in demand. It always will be, and it's not going to go away. It's hard to understand the impact of that when you're 18 or 19 years old, but I can tell you, I love what I do. And a lot of people that I know that are in these trades also love what they do.
Yep.
And then there's, always going to be new technology, things like that. And, it can be interesting for younger people.
And there's good money in it. Come on, say it. There's a good living. There's a good living to be made if you have some business skills.
Listen, if you want to be employed, not self-employed, or if you want to work for yourself, the salary, the sky's the limit. Honestly, I know people that work in the Twin Cities, upper Midwest area, that are well into 6 figures, low 6 figures for income. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Most people get into this trade and will have zero college debt. That's a big buzz topic right now, but to me, has always been a big topic of conversation. If people are looking at the trades at all, and you're considering whether or not you take on debt in order to get your schooling and training, you can oftentimes do things like what I'm doing every day, and you can do it without any debt.
Yeah, love it.
And it goes beyond the complete installation and service, right? So the whole category, there's the supply house, the manufacturing house, there's the folks that do the engineering for the new designs and for the engineering for
Right.
commercial building as well as the residential. It is so vast to try and paint the picture for folks just stepping into it. And most people think about it when there's no hot water for a shower or their
Yeah.
building's cold. And one of the things in the pre-show that you told us about was the maintenance and how
Yeah.
you prepare your clients in the off season, right? What do they say? Minnesota has 13 months of winter, right?
Yeah, it's
That's cool.
crazy. It's great. Being at Earth Day, we could talk about things that are good for the environment, or listen, for my business, I will tell you that 90% of what I do is connected to hydronics in one way or another, or it's heating water in one way or another, whether that's for domestic use or for heating and cooling. But honestly, I work with new and old houses, and what we lack in this industry, in every aspect, is maintenance on equipment that's installed and that we rely on every single day. I think that there's an entire business model that revolves around this, and every contractor out there that does this kind of work could increase their revenue if you just focus on maintenance. And the message behind that, I tell people in my classes that I've taught in the past, or that if anybody's willing to listen, is that we don't need to replace, we can just maintain. In a lot of older systems that are still relatively efficient but are delivering high levels of comfort, are really appropriate for the job we're asking of them. If we're maintaining those, we're doing a lot more for the environment than if we're just trashing old equipment because there's some new technology out there. A lot of the new technology we're looking at right now is going to become more adaptable to older homes and older equipment, whether we're retrofitting the equipment physically or if we're looking at replacement. But it shouldn't be a slash and dash, let's just replace it kind of culture out there. And there's a
Correct.
whole business model to back it up. So
And supporting that,
Mhm.
if anyone has talked to people in the mechanical world, sometimes they say, I only do new, I only do new, I only do new. You've heard it, right? We've all heard it.
mhm.
And guess what? That tells you what Eric said is more opportunity for the service and maintenance, because there's folks in your market that don't want to do it. And you can clean house, baby.
You could. So we got a
Yeah.
question below from Andrew, and then we're gonna wrap up here. So the question is the heat pump based hydronic package out there? Is there one that works in cold climates? Hydronic heat pumps.
They're getting pretty close. They're going to cut out in ranges that we will see fairly regularly here in the colder climates. They're not going to cover the full spectrum of the demand through the heating season. That's the unfortunate part. I think science is going to be the limitation. They need to bring in some, or I should say, I'm not going to tell heat pump manufacturers what to do, but there are some neat refrigerants out there that can operate at lower temperatures. So I think you're going to see more development in that side of things to adapt these heat pumps to hydronic systems that will perform better in colder climates. There's not a full package, I would say, that I could fully endorse myself. It really turns into a hybrid system where we still need some sort of backup heat plant that would marry well with a heat pump system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dave, one of my favorite conversations so far, and I want to have more about the restoration and the adapting to existing building topics. We haven't covered this subject in 2 years, Eric.
2?
So I was chomping at the bit when you said you'd come on, and I saw Dave take notes already today, and I've got my ideas for next time, and would love to continue to support your voice, and the image and example you set for the industry is something that could be replicated by many other communities. I appreciate what you do.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you.
Eric, how do people get a hold of you? I mean, I got your website up here, Mechanical Hub. But how do they tune into your podcast? Can they find all of that great information right here on your website?
You can find me every place we're at. You can find us on our website, or you know, if you're really just into certain platforms, I do a lot every single day on Instagram, like we've talked about earlier. We're trying to build up our YouTube a little bit. So Mechanical
Yeah.
Hub everywhere. Just type that in, even over on TikTok, you know, so it's fun. I just try to show stuff from my job sites. I try to be real about it, mix in some education. There's, you know, plenty of good, plenty of fun, you know,
Yeah.
I like to goof off too. So,
That's awesome. Are you going to be speaking anywhere anytime soon?
nothing in the works right now. Most of our industry stuff comes in the wintertime. So I'm hoping to do some stuff at the AHR Expo
Yep.
this year. The podcast, like you brought up, thank you for bringing that up. We stream everywhere. You know, most of our listens come from over on Apple and Spotify. But if you just look up Make Trades Great Again, it's a little quirky name, but we talk about another plumber and I talk about how we run our businesses and how it relates to, you know, being a skilled tradesperson, trying to be self-employed, that kind of stuff. So it's a day-to-day look back at what we do, and we get a lot of great interaction on that, and pretty lighthearted look at a very serious topic. So thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. Make Trades Great Again is our podcast. We stream every single week.
Yeah, next week, Mark, we got a surprise coming up, right?
You know, I did the trick.
It's upside down, Mark.
So have you ever heard have you guys ever driven past a tavern that has the old style sign upside down?
Yeah, it's a funny thing.
So when that happened, the theory is, right, I'm kind of a Wisconsin boy. The theory is they had the marketing meeting later on, right? Marketing meetings back then were a bit different than they are today. And there was a lot of yelling and screaming, and they had funny looking suits and big bottles of bourbon in there, nice mahogany rooms, right? And they said, why were those signs upside down? This is not working. And the head marketing director said, because you're talking about it right now. So this is a surprise next week. We're not saying who the guest is. We do know that Dave will be somewhere in Texas or somewhere in Arizona, but every once in a while, Eric, we like to do surprises. And that's why we brought Matt on today, right, to bring that familiarity forward. And we also wanted the students to have a chance to hear your voice, right, and to bring forward what you do. And I tell you, I don't know if we're going to be in Atlanta, but I'm already envisioning right before our very eyes the Mechanical Hub stage in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. I mean, as you speak, so shall it be, right? And we need to deliver more, and we always will need to deliver more because we have a lot of torches to pass.
That's it. I couldn't agree with you more. All right, listen, Eric, we appreciate you being on. Thank you for being an inspiration for other people in the trades, and not just doing your job. You're going above and beyond, running a podcast and helping to recruit the next generation by showing them how cool what you do is, and also educating the homeowner too. And that's a big part of what you do as well. And that builds trust. I think everybody has to understand, Mark, we talk about this all the time. When you put yourself out there like Eric has done, like you have done, Mark, or myself, people start to believe in you, trust you. It's good for your business. And I think, Eric, you'd tell any plumber that has a personality or whatever. But if you don't do video, you could write, you could blog, you could podcast. And I think that's all super important. So
I got a quick challenge, right? Because there's a lot of folks out there that follow Eric on IG.
Yeah.
Here's my weekend challenge. If you have a van that the outside or inside of it is cooler than Eric's, tag him and say you're cooler, right? Like play the field, folks. Try and up your game, because like I tell you what, it is always good to learn from others. Like it's just like when we were kids. A kid rode by with his mongoose. We're like, I'm gonna get a mongoose, right? And it's just how it goes. Up your game, be the example for your community.
Absolutely. You're hilarious, Mark. Thank you. I look forward to seeing posts of people's vehicles. I really do. I'm gonna buy a new one if Ford will ever let me order another one again. We'll see.
Right,
the
right.
supply.
We need to have a vehicle showdown, right? Who has the best vehicle? We have a vehicle organizational challenges. I think it'd be so cool. Why not?
Oh, you're right up my
How
alley.
do-
Don't let the messy
how do-
garage fool you. I'm a pretty organized guy.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
got to set it down somewhere before you put it away, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. All right, listen, everybody. So I will be leaving Saturday for San Antonio. I will be in San Antonio Saturday. I'll be in Austin on Sunday, back to San Antonio. And then Tuesday evening, I will be flying into Phoenix for Advancing Prefab. And we're going to spend the week there doing our show, showcasing all the wonderful people that are doing their thing. I will be going live randomly while we are there as well. And we got a lot of other great things coming up. We're going to be in England in June. We're going to be in Switzerland in August. And reach out to me if you got a product that's innovative and you want to showcase it on the lawn of the White House at the mall. Reach out to me. I'll give you more information there because there is a special event that is coming up in just a few weeks, and we're going to help organize it and put it together with all the great people there. So with that said, I'm Dave Cooper, Mark Bare Naked Willie, Eric Aune on the what side are you on? You're that side. So, Eric, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Don't go anywhere. We'll come right back to you after the outro. Everybody else out there, we will see you tomorrow for a very short coffee with Dave because I got to catch trains, planes, and automobiles. So we're all set. Mark, thanks, brother. I'll see you in just a few moments. Bye, everybody.